Hey, what's up guys? So welcome back to another Laravel tutorial. So in this video I'm going to explain to you about OTP, which is one-time password, and it's required where you have an authentication where you if you want to have your two-way authentication. So normally we use OTP, right? So I have set up my route as test app.devtest and slash register, which is my route. So now you guys can see that normally we have a localhost 127.0.0.1 or localhost slash the name of our folder. And now in our case, which is it's different. So I have set up here a virtual host. I want to explain you how to set up a virtual host, and plus I will explain you about how to set up the Firebase the console.firebase to set up a new project. In my case, which I already created test app, so we want to create another one, right? I want to explain you everything, and I have seen a lot of videos and they are very misconcept and they are not really easily understandable. So in this video I'm going to explain you each and everything. So first I want to show you the demo that how it works. So let's grab my number. I get the number and I just get the code. I click on the get code. All right, so let's click on it, and there you see here that the privacy terms, basically this is the reCAPTCHA. I just get the code right now on my mobile, and the code which is 918736, right? So I'm going to type here 918 and it's 736. All right, so you see now also we have an option here, resend, if our code is not correct or we get some timeout. But keep remember that don't put up your phone number again and again, because that's gonna you might have a timeout here, right? So keep sure that you don't keep going to resend it. You can also show those exceptions on the browser as well. Later on I want to explain to you, but that's very simple. Now I just type my verification code, and now if I click on here, it's going to processing, and you see now we get the success. All right, so that means the code is correct. But in case if I just type some wrong number, let's going to type that, you see that now it's going to show me invalid code, right? So that's perfect. All right, so that's what we are going to build, and I hope you guys will enjoy. So let's jump in and get started with a new project. Alright guys, so now we're back here, and I have already installed my new project, which is the OTP underscore prod, and all you need to do is simply go to the git bash here, which I already have open and I have installed with the new project, right? So you can simply type the command on using your panel terminal, or you can use git bash. That's really helpful command terminal, and that's you need to write composer create dash project laravel/laravel. That's the command, right? So you just simply need to add this command, and that want to install the Laravel project. All right, so I'm done with the Laravel project installation, and I already have opened up my code editor using VS Code. And before going to the VS Code, I want to show you that you need to do few things which are very essential. So first we need to create the virtual host, and also we have to set up the Firebase. So first I'm going to here is to set up my virtual host. So in order to set up your virtual host, and why it's important, you can also do PHP artisan serve, but in case while you are working with the OTP and Firebase, because you have a Firebase configuration that normally you have to change some settings, but the most good way is to set up the virtual host, which can have a very few chances of having any error while we have to receiving any message. So that's the reason why I'm going to set up here the virtual host. So all you need to do is to go to your C XAMPP, make sure your XAMPP installed in your C drive, and next you have to go to the Apache and conf and bin extra, and let's move into the host dot httpd-vhost. Just open that using Sublime Text, or even you can open up with your command terminal. So make sure that in your case, because I have already set up my virtual host previously for my for my demo project, and in your case you just simply need to copy that. On the top you can find it, these are the comments, right? So you can just simply copy that and place that down here, right? Which actually I don't need actually, but just for your easiness, for your ease, I can do that. So you need to do is to set up you need to remove that first two lines. Keep sure that you have your document root, actually document root should be there, so remove that only. make sure you have your document root and your server name, and rest all just remove that all right. So I removed that, and next you need to do is to do the same thing again. Just remove that server admin and remove all the two downlines. All right. Okay, once you do with that, you have to keep remember I already have set up my virtual host on top, which is the server name and local. Your server name is localhost, and your path, which you have to set up the path for your document root, which should be czamp htdocs. So this is what you need to do for the first thing, right? Keep sure that you have to follow that first step. Now in the second case, right? And actually now I have to set up my, so I remove these hash and type here czamp htdocs, and that's going to be the name of your project. So in my case, the name of my project folder is, which is otp_prod. So let's bring up here otp_prod /public. So that's going to be my path of my project. And second thing, I need to define the name. So in my case, I just give it the otp otp_prod, or keep that otp app dot and give it the name of dev. All right, so let's give it the dev test. All right, so I set up my otp.dev test and saves it. All right, so first the second step you need to do is to open up your notepad. So I open up my notepad and make sure that you need to run as administrator. And once you run with your administrator, you have to go to your file, open, and make sure that you have to follow some path. You have to go to the C, Windows, and inside Windows you have another folder with the name of system32 driver etc, and after that you can find down here all files, and let's open up the host. So already I have set up that, so that's why my path is already predefined there, and you can only do is to just add two lines. The first line should be your localhost, and the second thing should be the name of your project, which in my case is otp app.devtest. So I simply need to add up here, right? I add this one and saves it. All right, so let's copy that and check this out. But before running on the browser, you need to do is to just again stop your XAMPP server and restart it again. All right, so I start it again, and let's type up something here and press enter. Yeah, it's did you mean to go to that? So I click on here, and so that's going to open up my dashboard actually, which I don't need to open. Actually, I forget up here my hash, so I need to remove those comments as well and save it. And let's save it and go back to the browser. And now if I try to run here otp-app.devtest, but keep sure I need to restart my server again. So I restarted, and let's gonna remove this dashboard and press enter. So now you can see, now you have set up your virtual host, right? So now in the next step, all you need to do is to go to your Firebase. If you are logged in on your Google account, all you need to do is to go to your console.firebase.google.com, press enter. This is going to open up a new project. So click on the add project, and let's give it the name of the OTP app. All right, so I give it the name of OTP app. It checks this out. It's going to generating it. So while it's going to generating it, you need to press continue, and few questions. Enable Google Analytics for this project. Keep that. Select an account, default account for Firebase, create the project. So this is going to take, I believe, 2 minutes or so. And on the same time, we have to do some configuration. So all you need to do is to go to your resources, views. I keep the things very clean. Let's create a folder with the name of layouts, and inside layouts, create a new file and set that to be master.blade.php. Now open up your document, and let's create an HTML, set that to be OTP code, OTP Firebase app. All right, just zoom this so you can see properly. And next I'm going to define here the meta name, right? So what I'm going to do here is, let me open up my, So you need to define here CSRF token, which I believe in our case might not required, but you have to set up for your production. Let's bring up that. Now I'm gonna put up here my bootstrap. Your new project is already run, so just click on the next, and on the same time, meanwhile, I'm gonna open up my bootstrap. So let's open up the bootstrap here and click on the most popular. So it's a framework, front-end framework, and let's grab the CSS only. I need only CSS. So I grab the CSS here and put that down here, right? So we set up our bootstrap. Okay, so there is integrity and constraints. You can remove that, make sure it looks more cleaner. Next, I need to add the yield content for extending my layouts. And if in my case, if you need any jQuery, all you need to do is to go to your code.jquery.com. In my case, it might be required or not, but keep sure if it's needed. So I go to the code.jquery.com and just grab the uncompressed version, copy that all and paste it inside your text editor, right? So I copy that again. I remove this integrity constraints, which I don't need actually. So I bring this in and we are good to go, right? So last thing, if I need some scripts in some few files, I'm going to define here stack, right? So let's stack, and so I can push up my scripts in the other files. So I define scripts here and create another file inside the public for my which I need to define inside my public folder, which is our main root directory. Keep remember that. So create a folder and set that to be asserts. I create another folder with the name of JS. Inside JS, I'm going to create a file with the name of Firebase .js. All right, so we set up our Firebase, and I need to create some pages, which I believe I have to create inside my resources, views, and let's create a folder and set that to be pages, and let's give it the file with the name of register, right? register.blade.php. You can name it anything, right, depending on your requirement, but I'm happy with the register.blade.php. Let's extend it. So I'm going to extend the layout. So layouts, set that to be layouts.master. Basically this is the name of the folder and the name of the file. And next I'm going to define a section, which is content. These are everything which I've defined in my crash course. So if you are interested to get, if you want to learn from there, you can do. So we end the section. Let's give it the section for the HTML. Write some HTML. I define the section, and I want to give it the class of valid OTP form. So I give it the class of valid OTP form, and inside here I'm going to create a container. I create a container. Inside container I'm going to create a row here. So row, and let's give it the column of md-6 and give it the max horizontal and max-order. All right, so let's create a card here, and inside card I'm going to create a card-header and bring the bg-dark for the background dark, and the text should be white. All right, so I define everything here, and let's give it the inside the header, let's give it the h4 and give it the text class of text-center, and give it the account verification. All right, and let's go down to this div. After this card, let's define here card-body, which is a bootstrap class, and let's put up here form, and inside form I don't need any action, so remove that. And inside form let's create the CSR, which is the cross-site protection. So I give it the CSRF. Let's give it the form group, which is a form bootstrap class. So form dash group, actually it should be FORM. And inside that, I'm going to give here the label. Let's give it the label of phone number and phone underscore number, and define here phone number. And down here, I'm going to define my input field. So let's give it the input type of text and class of form dash control. All right, it should be input type of text actually, and put that inside the text and just remove that. Okay, so input type of text form dash control. I need to give it here a name. Let's give it the name of phone underscore number and ID of number. All right, so I give it the ID of number, and let's give it the placeholder. So I'm gonna give it a placeholder equal to code. Let's give it the code, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, depending upon the number of digits of your number. Keep sure it varies on the base of the country. So in my case, I just give it the 7 digits. All right, so you can also add some validation later on, but I want to make things very much simple for you guys. Okay, so next I'm going to create an anchor tag, and let's give it the hash for the button. So ID equal to get code. That's gonna be ID for the get code. Let's give it a class of btn, btn dash dark, and btn dash sm for small, and give it the get code. All right, and next we have another div. Inside this div, let's give it the div dot form dash group and dot empty dash 4 for margin to the top, and give it the input type of text, and let's give it the ID of code to verify. So we have the verification button as well, verification form field where we have to add the get code which we get from the OTP. So let's give it the name of get code, and let's give it the class of form dash control, which I believe I gave or not. No, I haven't given it. So form dash control, and give it the placeholder of enter code. All right, so last thing which I'm gonna do here is, after this div, let's create a class of, give it the hash and class of btn dash dark, btn dash sm for small, and btn dash block. All right, and give it the verify phone number. Okay, and give it the ID as well, because later on I want to do dynamically. I need to do with the J Query and Ajax, so I need to pass here an ID, right? So let's give it the name of verify phone number. All right, so I give it the ID verify, and P is capital, H small, and NUM, right? Okay, so I think so we are all good for now. We give it the verification phone number, and this div is actually coming from this form dash group. So let's remove that div. Actually, I need to do here is I need to end this. After that, I just give it the div and this div right here, and anchor tag, which is fine. And now let's have a look here on the browser. So I go to my otp.dev test, and it actually now doesn't work because I haven't created any controller. So let's create a controller real quick here. So I'm going to create a controller. In order to create a controller, php artisan make controller. Let's give it the name of home controller. Home controller So I create a controller, and inside home controller, I'm going to create a function. Let's give it a public function index. Give it the name of index, and let's return view and the name of the folder, which is pages, I believe. And if I go to the pages, we have a register file, so let's give it the name of pages.register. Let's create a route real quick. So I'm going to web.php, which should be inside your routes, and web.php. All right, so let's go up here and create a route here. So route get, which is a get request, because we need to load the view. So get request, and let's create a route for it, which is register. Do the same thing, just like the demo. Sorry about that. The controller, which is home controller, and the method name, which is index. Right, I created that. Save it and go to your browser, and let's hit up the new route, which is /register, and you see now we have our verification code. All right, very simple. But I want to make this into the center. Let's have a look why it's not centered. Okay, so I go to the content, which is fine. I give it the section container, and this container is inside that. That's fine. Let's give it the row, and I pass up here row and give it the call -md-6, and it should be not max, it should be mx-auto. Right, so let's refresh this, and now you see everything looks awesome. All right, so we have our basic layout completed. Now we need to work on the Firebase. So before going to the Firebase, you have successfully installed, because we are working on the web, so you need to click on here and real quick an app. Let's give it the app nickname as I just gave it the OTP app, right? Just same name. Also set up Firebase hosting for this app. You can set up if you want. Let's register the app. So this is going to take some time, and it works. So continue to console, go to the continue to console and click on the OTP app and click on this button. And now you see that we have set up our Firebase SDK snippet. It's also very important that you can we need to grab from the configuration, so you can also copy that later on. But before going here, it's the second step. You have some information: general, cloud messaging, which we don't need right now, integration, service account, data privacy, and user permissions. So let's say if I go up here inside the user permissions, which I have set up, add a member if you want. But the most important thing before going up here, you need to go to the authentication, and inside authentication, you need to go to your, let's click on the get started here. Yeah, so you need to make sure that you have your phone sign-in provider. So make sure that you have your phone enabled. So you need to enable that, go to your web and save it, right? So make sure you have your phone enabled and you have your things done, right? So for the Alright guys, so now we need to work with our firebase.js file. But before going that, I just need to add some scripts. So let's grab the first I need to because we have stack on our master file, so I'm gonna push up here on the other pages. So very simple, all I'm gonna put up here is scripts. Alright, so I put up my scripts in, and let's end the push as well. So after doing that, all I'm gonna do is to just add the script here, and I add up here. And next, all you need to do is to go to your Firebase cdn.js.com/library/Firebase, and I'm gonna grab the CDN, right? Very simple. So copy that up and paste it inside your script tag. So let's give it the script with the source of attach the script, right? All right, so we are done with that script. Let's write some JavaScript here, right? So let's type here $document.ready function. All right, so I add up my document here, and inside that document, I need to add the Firebase configuration. So you need to go inside your settings and general, and there you see you can find up your configuration. Just copy that, and that's all created by while you're creating your new app, and just paste it here, right? So it's giving me some sort of error, and what it's saying is no quick fixes available. um, why it's keep giving me, I never get this error before, but let me check this out. So dollar, oh, actually this should be a function. All right, so this is dollar document already function. And next I'm going to define here initialize the Firebase. So all I'm going to do here is initialize the Firebase. Just after that add the initialize Firebase, which actually here is firebase.initialize app, and initialize the Firebase configuration that we already created while we are creating a new app. All right, so inside this, I'm going to create here a reCAPTCHA verifier, right? So I'm going to paste it here, and actually what it means that it will create a new reCAPTCHA container, which I already created. I might copy that here, and there you see, right? So this is the div ID of reCAPTCHA-container. Define that into the same page where you have your layout, right? Where you have the layout for your verification code, where you have your code to verify. And just add up here window.reCAPTCHA verifier, create a new auth reCAPTCHA verifier, create an object, and size should be invisible. It hides, it's invisible, and it only appear once we are verifying the code, right? So callback function once we are getting the code, right? And then I just console the log for reCAPTCHA result. That's later on I'm going to show you that. Okay. So what I'm going to do next here is let's write a code for the get code. So I'm going to copy it from my existing code, and what I'm going to do here is okay, so this is my ready function. Outside of that, let's create here the get code. So what actually I did here, I just removed the unnecessary thing. So I click the get code for getting my code. I get the phone number value, and this is the function which I later on gonna create it. And we create the app verifier. It will generate a new reCAPTCHA verifier, and then if the response is for the confirmation result, we get the confirmation result, and we can get the code result, whatever the code that we get, right? So this exists in the confirmation result. So our callback function just give us the confirmation result and pass up here, and the code result, whatever we get, I just console the log in order we can see on console, and otherwise this is going to show you the message depending on whatever the message we have. So this is going to show later on. All right. Okay, so this is basically this actually is all code for getting the code. Now I need to, and once if the phone is verified, now I need to find an ID where we can gonna verify our phone number. So let's have a look up here. So verify excuse me. So here we have code to verify and submits button. This is a verify phone number, which I hope so. So it should be verify phone number. So I just changed that ID to verif ph number. So that looks more better actually. So I just changed its ID. So keep sure that you have changed this ID, right? And I'm gonna do here is first we create here dollar, and let's give it the verify phone number. We have an on click function. So on click function, and that should be a function, right? I don't know what's wrong with that. Okay, so create a on click function, and I need some J Query, a very basic J Query, which actually means that we getting the value, and we console the log whatever the code that we get, and it's disable and processing once we are verifying it. So you can see on the button that we have. It's very simple. And then I'm gonna do here is to just paste everything that I have. Most of the thing that I don't need it, but just want to show you. Okay, I pasted up here, and all I'm gonna do is to remove that. I don't need that stuff. Remove that dashboard, and I believe that's fine. Okay, so what it does here is I get the value, we check for, and it's disabled and processing on the button. It shows processing on the button. Then for the confirmation result, whatever the code that we get, it then we get the promise, and we get the user, right? Whatever the results for the user, we get the user, and otherwise it's gonna bind the error. User couldn't sign it if it's a bad verification code. So that's where I passed here. Remove the attribute for the disable and invalid code, and set the timeout and show verified phone number. And after 2 seconds, this gonna stay back to the same text that we have in our submit button, right? Okay, so I have console log everywhere, right? Now I need this function, I need that into the same function. The reason why I'm putting these on the same function, just for the, so I don't need to refresh my button. So I'm gonna cut this all, and let's create a function for this. So I'm gonna create a function, and let's set that to be function on sign in submit, whatever the function that you need to give, but I'm happy with that, right? So I pass up a function, and I also need one more thing here, and let's have a look. So it's bind the function, which is fine, and I get all the code. All right, so that seems to be good. Now in order to we get the code, and let's pass into the get code function. So for that I have to create another on click even, because what I did here is, let me check this out. And that's fine, I believe. Okay, let's have a look here, and I need to call this function. So what I'm gonna do here is, let's pass up inside this recaptcha result. All right, okay, now we are done, and let's have a look, refresh this, and we're not getting any error, which is a good sign. And let's do here is write my code, and if I just try to get the code, and I might get an error. Definitely I would get an error, I hope so, because yeah, it's show me a reCAPTCHA verifier, which is protected reCAPTCHA, and it says hostname match not found. And actually this is getting from, I am getting this error because I have an error.message, which I've shown you already, and this is gonna show me an error. Let's have a look for what reason it's going to show me an error. It says code error 400, check hostname match not found. All right, so in order to find the host name, all you need to do is to go to your authentication. So I go to my authentication, and or authentication, or you need to go to your, which is fine, I would say, and next you need to go inside your sign-in methods, right? And down here you could see you have some add domain, right? So in our case the domain name is otp app.devtest, which I believe I need to add up here. Let's add up here and add it. By default there is a localhost exist, but there you see, but still for the confirmation. So I refresh this, and now if I go to my console, and one more thing I need to do here is, if I go up inside the bind function, which is fine, and I need to show an alert for the confirmation. So let's show up inside the confirmation result. Let's set that to be success. And if it doesn't exist, so this is going to show us verify phone number. Couldn't, this is going to bind an error, right? So let's refresh this, and I need to get my phone number. Actually, just give me a second, and let's have a look up check if I get the code. If I doesn't, then I need to work on, right? Alright, so I just click on the get code and it's reCAPTCHA worked and reCAPTCHA resolved, which is a good thing. And it's shown me in a phone code. Yeah, I got a message, which is a good sign, right? So the code in my case is 77772800, and if I click on the verify phone number, and you see I get this and I get the success message. So as simple as that, right? So I hope you guys will get an idea. It's a very good topic you hardly find in the other great tutorials. So I would highly suggest you to just leave a like and subscribe. And if you really like this video, leave a thumbs up, share with your friends, and I want to see you for the next